All right. There was actually something that I had forgotten that Andy No, I believe, actually did a whole video on, and actually I should just take a quick look-see. Let me just take a look-see. So this is an addendum to that last video on the on how really the L in the alphabet people, the rainbow alphabet people, the L's really do need to reassess their political interests and really look at like what really is this recent wave of feminism. What is it supposed to be getting us? Like what is the structure it's based on? Because everybody's saying it's just fundamentally Marxism with a skirt. So it's just some dude's ideas refashioned by a bunch of dude intellectuals. Then a bunch of women took it in the 70s and picked up with it. So it's a bunch of stuff men created so that women could fundamentally make it, as long as there's a payee who's typically going to be wealthy and of European descent and male. That there's just a pool of those people, they'll have enough money, they'll have extra, and they'll be able to just, the women need this. They've told us, doth saith the women, so here. See, and it's because you doth protest too much about everything nowadays that this is really now something that it's really a problem for you. There we go. It turns out, yes, that Andy No published about a day ago, and it was that Lotus Eaters covered this, and yeah, there's a few things where Andy No has gotten into. That's weird. I'm not subscribed. How am I not subscribed, Andy? But now I am. There's all these now people who are in Antifa that there's all these mug shots of them. There's some of them who, they're so comically evil looking. They literally look like something out of a comic book villain. Or very well drawn, like the top of the line white male artists, typically. That I have a bunch of comics that I learned a lot about art from. My father was really like pointing this is this quality, depth and shadow and movement. He would try. I didn't really pick up on it, but as time went on, and I've recently gotten to see people show things on YouTube, and I'm like, come on, that's not real. That's not Marvel would not put their name on. No, please don't do this to me. Don't make me cry. So, Andy No has these fascinating comic book villains that now really start to show something that I think a lot of the L's in the rainbow happiness community, that you really need to sit back and be like, okay, nigga, you playing me? Are you niggas what are you niggas up to? Because shame on a nigga who tries to run game on nigga. It's Wu-Tang nigga is still the same nigga. Shame on nigga who tries to run some game. Are they running game on you? Because when these people go to jail, where they'll be going into a section full of men, even though most of these cats say they're girls, that they're going in for trafficking. There's like a lot of them. Or one of the charges has something to do with a minor. Like, what's up? What's... And these are like millennials. And a lot of... These aren't even young bucks. Like, these aren't even young bloods. They're like some 22-year-old. No, these are like old motherfuckers in a lot of cases. You know, these are kind of old motherfuckers. So, a lot of you feminists, you activist lesbian types, this is the point at which it's really weird, because America is getting older. The average age now, the young black, the thing, they skew younger. That's over now. These are now a generation that's becoming adults. So there's no huge wave of young people. One of the things that was key to the deep right types, deep right, you know, deep right. So, understand that we knew what the demographic disaster was that's coming up. We knew this. We knew that the banks had to know this, that they had to have the real numbers on this, because these were easily found. You just had to have the right, you just had to know what to do. You had to get the metrics. Deep right does metrics. Then you have people like me that sit there and go, wait a second, you know, because I had heard this, and I heard that, and I heard this, and I heard that. And what your metrics are saying, no, really, let me send you a link. Let me make sure you know what I'm referring to, because my memory is like that. It seems like this would be related to that, but in this way. Do you get what I mean? And then somebody gets back to me and is like, holy shit. Okay, I found this in looking into what you were telling me. That's how the deep right works. The creativity of using the tool of the internet. Imagine creating a painting, which is the future, out of the information stacking up every minute. That's the beauty of being on the deep right. And you see, now, who do you associate with? You see, the right was a thing. The alt-right started becoming a thing. The Christian right was, everybody was debating between each other. Everybody was fighting with these ideas, and I called it a long time ago. They would all, pardon me, they would all kind of fracture into their own, like, orders. But there would be various places that they could meet that would be a lodge of affinity. So everybody knows the right, R-I-T-E, the ritual. They understand the idea of, let's get our cards out. It's when you're dealing with the leftist and the collectivist and the sneak and the cheat and those types, that's when they're not really, they don't practice the right, R-I-T-E, correctly. And people are put off by them. They're like, no, this person's you're not being genuine. Like Vouch or Destiny. Destiny used to strike a lot of people like this, but he's kind of gotten to people such that he's the Lodge of America First is willing to now and then hear what he has to say, have a lecture at their column, at the broken column. So love-waxing, quasi-Masonic. So, with the issues of the commies and commie gang, oh good, my chicken is done. Commie gang can't have gotten away with what it got away with in Portland and the Northwest in general, because there's federal buildings in Eugene and in Portland, and I mean the FBI is all over the place up here. They were already looking into eco-terrorists, and suddenly they can't do anything about these people. For hundreds of days, these people just show up outside of a courthouse and just start throwing fireballs. They just can't do anything. They can't figure out what to do. Seriously. Really. The feds just can't figure out what to do about this. And then eventually, when these people finally go to jail for something permanently, it looks like they're going to be going to prison for doing stuff with kids. So for those of you who you are women, you think something is who's going to back you? When you are walking and somebody's like walking up to you like Scooby-Doo villain style, like hands out, dirty hands, and they're coming at you, and this was a big lummox in a crazy outfit, and you got commie bro, and then you got right-wing bro. Which one's going to whip out a pistol and punch a hole in the fucker? And who's going to just be like, if all you did was just take the mask off and give him a shower, everyone would have seen it's just a local crackhead. He just likes coming up to women and creeping them out and touching them. You should have understood that before you, like, blew his head off. Oh my god. Who's going to keep your neighborhood safe? And you already know that answer. Too many of you already know this answer, especially those of you who you're stuck in San Francisco. You're going to have to find, like, some chick who has a truck. They already left. Those bitches already left. You're going to have to, like, get on a dating site and find some bitch with a truck. Like San Mateo or San Ho. That she wants to get the fuck out. Said, okay, grab me. I'm in San Francisco. We'll grab all our shit and move. Because that's how you know you're dating a lesbian. Is all her shit shows up at your house. Cha-ching. Think I don't know that? You think I don't know? You think I'm not from that? I was there. I was there. So, you're getting punked out. You're actually seeing really something that is very, very important. That I did not know this until very recently, and a lot of stuff that was democratic and stuff I didn't, and I'm like, that makes perfect sense now. Imagine if you really did have people who they so believe in the rules, they kind of get mired in them a lot. It's still a very human group of people, so they'll have their corruption, but they really, really are trying to stick to the rules of the Constitution. There's another group that's just more like, well, no, this is the real world. And, you have to tell people that you'll hand them the sun, moon, and stars, and when you hand them something, you say it's a moon rock, and it's just a rock. If they're happy, they're happy. And that they understand this about people, because they are old money. And to be rude to other people in various regards is just not to be done, because it looks bad. It looks bad. We don't do things like that, darling. We don't say things like that, darling, in mixed company, because it's just it's rude, and you don't want people talking about you a certain way. It's not that you what you really think, what you really believe. You don't want people talking about you like that, because you have money, and to keep that money, you have to play the game of power appropriately, and you have to know how to deal with power. So, it's not about having the money. It's not even about making the money. It's about keeping the money, and that is about power. People who have kept money from some older era of time, they have taught somebody in that line understands power. They get it. That's why you, especially families like that, it's very good to have, like if you're middle class, it's good to have a number of children. So that you have a child that gets, like, by the time my parents died, they owned 3 pieces of property that had it had become worth this much. They had this much stuff. This was not a small amount of money. My other 2 siblings did not understand how to handle this, you know. And so it's you need a yeah, kids are like that, you know. It's families are like that. It's very difficult. It's very weird that you have families that could hold on to their power for many, many generations. Like the Rothschilds have unique things they do in their family that maintain their power, and this is like unknown. This has been written about them and stuff. And they're fascinating. They're fascinating people. But most people aren't like that. Most people want at a certain stage to pass on wealth for the happiness of their prosperity and their progeny. So people who are into this understanding, this understanding of power, I didn't realize that that's a key aspect of the way the Democratic Party has to run. That this is why, like with the multi-ethnic cities, that you have redlining, because they made sure everybody was in their area. This also then makes the voting pattern a very easy thing to deal with. And only recently, one of the things I had found out was somebody from on the ground in Cicero when Capone went in. When Capone went in, there was enough chaos in gangland Italian America that eventually the Democrats started to lose in Cicero. And the reason why was because there was no longer an insured goon squad who would go around and whoop your ass if you didn't vote Democratic Party. And this change, and because people so resented the fact that this was the norm, that you were intimidated into voting for certain candidates by the goon squad, that they ended up rebelling for quite a period of time, and it changed the way that Cicero developed. This was I would have to look. Yeah, this is, I think, a whole thread. It was Thomas Wichter who was talking about this. And it's actually something I needed to look up. I didn't really understand. I did, and I didn't. Because my family came from Chicago, so there would be things said about politics in Chicago and the Democrats, but we were a Democrat voting household. So now at this stage, you are seeing a lot of sort of a period of generations, and that this is the end of kind of a part of the story. And now if you're the L in the alphabet, you need to start looking for your destiny and not fall into a fate. Don't get tied to a party. Really, most of you are better off with the libertarians. Honestly, I don't know why you all don't get that. Most of you are totally better off with libertarians. You would be able to pool your money, and then you'd be like, oh, well, we'd have to start a nonprofit. Why? Because it's the law. No, not in libertarian land. You could do what you want with your money. Wait, really? Yeah, there would barely be taxes. Really? You might have to own a gun, though. These cats going down for trafficking is something that you need to take very seriously, because these are literally the feminists who are so feminist they'll beat you up for not saying a guy in a dress is a woman. is a real woman. They'll beat you up when you try to say that a dude, that you should be able to take a shit in a bathroom and not have some dude in a dress in the next stall like, oh my god, do you have any more toilet paper, sister? You know. You know. Oh my god. I've been thinking about, I've been rolling this over in my mind, especially thinking about how the career of Ghazi Kodzo and the way that he would openly abuse white people. He would say these things that really were pretty much like, this guy shouldn't have been on YouTube in a lot of cases, but then it's like, no, let's just full mouth off. But then the land back thing and these, how Looney Bins and Looney Tunes this all was, that he still had people somehow into it. And how it was obviously kind of a nut job. It's like kind of pretty obvious. There's something a little funny style about the cat. Funny style. See, black people, funny style. I think it's funny style. And this is funny. Yeah, I'm saying this nigga's funny style. So that somebody like this, they're fine. They're fine. They're covered. Antifa could do anything they want. These people are probably on footage of throwing things and yelling crazy shit at the feds. And then finally when they go to, finally they end up going to jail. It's like, it's almost like the party suddenly was like, no, we can't bail you out this time. No, homie. We can't get you out of this one. We can't get you out of this. No. Do you see what's coming up with the Hunter Biden in his laptop and Joe sniffing kids? And no. This is no. You're going to have to pay the price. Pay the price in prison for doing things with kids. Holy crap. Damn. Motherfuckers on some, I'm going to know. You motherfuckers, cage birds sing, holy shit, you know why that cage bird is going to sing. You go, no. People know why the cage bird is finna sing. Oh my god, I can't believe some of these people, the stuff they've been involved with, and the things they've said on social media. There's going to be all kinds of hard, crazy, loped out fools. Like, I listen to the ex-con channels, and I'm like, dude, don't fuck with the feds. Don't commit federal offenses. Just don't do it. Don't give them a reason to visit you. We'd like to speak to you for a minute. I would really not like that. This is bad. It's bad. Don't do things at the federal. It's called federal penitentiary. It's called prison. Don't do that. Not good. Not the place you want to visit. Holy crap, the shit like people will say now. I'm like, hearing these stories, I'm like, dude, every day you had to wake up and think, is something like that about to happen? Holy shit. Holy shit. And these cats, this is where they're going to end up being. And we're going to see how, like, absolutely tough these people are. Some of these fools are going to come out, they're going to be double-loked. They're going to be that double-loked person who, like, becomes another historic serial killer that people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe there's serial killers like this. Let's make a documentary about them. In like 50 years. Sick shit. So now it really is. Who's on your side? Lesbians, who's on your side? I mean, who really, that they're like, well, civilization is evident because the women and children can walk around safely and enjoy the outdoors within a major city of our civilization. What side of politics do you think is like that? Holy shit. And proving it. Metrics. Right wing, deep right, there's metrics. It's a phenomena in the real universe. So there must be metrics to measure it. Don't forget those words. If it's a real phenomena in the world, it exists, so therefore there's metrics. Even behaviors of humans can be broken down into their constituent metric, can be observed, and there can be metrics derived. This is going to be unbelievably important. Just don't forget that. This is why I suggest you start learning more about the libertarians, more about the how about we all leave each other alone when we want to be left alone party. It's called a contract. You make a contract with somebody, and then leave me alone. So, yeah, this was just something. Catch up if you need to with the Andy No thing. Andy No nailed it, and then Lotus Eaters nailed it by reporting, like, yeah, Andy No, it turns out a lot of these people prey on kill. This seems to be a pattern. Seems to be a fascinating pattern with commies. Commie gang seems to have certain things they like, propensities. Kind of interesting. Alright, later.